This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter and welcome you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, August the 9th, in the year 1981, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game was held between the NL and the NAL. You may think to yourself a couple of questions. Number one is, why are you doing something on the MLB All-Star Game? And number two, the most logical thing is, why is there an All-Star Game in August? Well, I'll tell you. 1981 was the year of the very pathetic mid-season strike. Baseball had some strikes beforehand, but they were usually during spring training and all that. So, nothing damaging there. However, the fact was that there was problems. Teams wanted compensation for losing free agents. They want like a draft pick or a list of players, and baseball did not budge on the free agent compensation story. So basically, they said strike in June. So June 12, 1981, they decided to strike. And for 50 days, there was no baseball. There was like really no sports because hockey and basketball were done. And football, well, you have to wait till September. So the sports world was kind of on a screeching halt. There would be other sports like the CFL to keep your eyeball on if you're Canadian. Unfortunately, though, things were bad. But fortunately, they got 50. After 50 days, they did come to an agreement and make the season happen again. A lot of people said that because the owners didn't have insurance past 50 days, they would have lost money, greedy as they are. So the player strike happened. So the strike ended July 31st. So baseball scrambled 9 days later to have the All-Star Game in Cleveland. The day before, they were going back to the table. Now, of course, this was huge because, the whole situation. The 1981 All-Star baseball season had a pickup because they lost many games and 50 days worth of stuff. They didn't know what to do. So they decided to have a split season format, which means whoever was first place in each of the four divisions would host a divisional series matchup. So it'd be the first half and the second half division winners would meet each other in the playoffs. Would meet in a best of 5 playoff before the best of 5 LCS League Championship Series and best of 7 World Series. Remember, the LCS was the best of 5 before 1985. People were up in arms and over it because, you had to win your division and all that. But what if both halves are won by the same team? They decided to have the runner-up, whoever was the second half runner-up, would face that team in a matchup. Fortunately, though, that never happened. But anyway, baseball was going to go back to the line August 10th, 1981. So the day before, they decided to have the All-Star Game at Cleveland Stadium, the cavernous Cleveland Stadium. And, the Cleveland fans were happy. This was the only time an All-Star Game has happened on a Sunday. So usually it's on a Tuesday, but it's on a Sunday. So there were 72,000 fans in attendance for the All-Star Game, which is still a record to this day. So anyway, the National League had and American League were ready to go. Key National League player. The starting lineup for the National League was Fernando Valenzuela, the starting pitcher. Well, he was a rookie who was being a phenom. Gary Carter, a catcher from the Expos. Pete Rose, first base of the Phillies. Second base, Davey Lopes of the Dodgers. Third base, Mike Schmidt of the Phillies. Shortstop, Dave Concepcion from the Reds. In the outfield, Andre Dawson of the Expos, George Foster of the Reds, and Dave Parker of the Pirates. Key reserves were Vida Blue when he played for San Francisco, Steve Carlton for the Phillies, Bert Hooton for LA, Nolan Ryan for Houston, Tom Seaver for Cincy, and Bruce Sutter of St. Louis. Other reserves, Bill Buckner for the Cubs, Steve Garvey of the Dodgers, many names, but anyway. Bill Badlock of the Pirates, Ozzie Smith of the Padres, Dusty Baker of the Dodgers, Pedro Guerrero from the Dodgers, Tim Raines from the Expos, and Joe Youngblood of the Mets. Ugh. Meanwhile, over on the American League side, the starters were this. Jack Morris would start at pitcher. Pitcher. Catcher would be Carlton Fisk of the White Sox, which was strange to hear. White Sox, not Red Sox. Rod Carew played first base from the Angels. Second base was Willie Randolph of the Yankees. Third base, George Brett of the Royals. Bucky Dent of the Yankees was shortstop. And the outfield was Reggie Jackson of the Yankees, Dave Winfield of the Yankees, and the Orioles was Ken Singleton. Pitchers were Len Barker, him of the perfect game in the 81 season. And, Cleveland needed someone. Ron Davis of the Yankees, Willie Fingers of the Brewers, hard to say. Ken Forsch of the Angels, Goose Gossage of the Yankees, Scott McGregor of the Orioles, and my boy from the Blue Jays, Dave Stieb. Key reserves were Ted Simmons of the Brewers, Eddie Murray of the Orioles, Al Oliver of the Rangers, Texas Rangers that is, Frank White from the Royals, Buddy Bell from Texas, Rick Burleson from the Angels, Tony Armas of Oakland, Dwight Evans of Boston, Fred Leapingwood for the Angels, and Gorman Thomas of the Brew Crew. So it was a key matchup. The American League looked good through 4 innings as Jack Morris and Len Barker shut down the National League. Fernando pitched the first inning and did okay, 2 strikeouts. In the second inning, Seaver came up and he gave up a home run to Ken Singleton. Why did the Expos have to trade Ken Singleton for Mike Torres? Gary Carter was the hero in the 5th inning off of Ken Forsch, who moved over from the Astros to the Angels organization. So Carter hit a home run to tie it at 1. And then in the 6th, Dave Parker got a home run off Mike Norris of the A's. Bert Hooten tried to do his best to do anything. But Singleton, Dwight Evans, and Carlton Fisk all singled. Fred Lynn singled, made it 2-2. Buddy Bell hit a sac fly, 3-2. And then Eddie Murray thought he grounded in double play, but they only got 1 out. Ted Simmons got a base hit to make it 4-2, scoring Carlton Fisk. Al Oliver almost made things worse. So it was 4-2. Then Ashley came back and scored as Gary Carter knocked a home run off Ron Davis of the Yankees, making it 4-3. And then the 8th, Willie Fingers came in. Walked Ozzie Smith. Smith stole second and was on his way to third base after Bo Diaz made a terrible throw into center field. However, Dave Winfield hustled the ball back in the infield, and Smith was kind of the rundown. So it looked pretty good. Mike Easler of the Pirates walked. And then Mike Schmidt took a pitch from Willie Fingers and deposited it into the cavernous bleachers, making it 5-4 National League and taking down the American League. It was just shocking to see this. It was a good game. Everyone enjoyed themselves. 72,000 fans were there. Gary Carter was named the All-Star Game MVP for his 2 home run performance. I would say so. Although Mike Schmidt should have gotten it because he was the guy with the winning home run. So this was the last time Cleveland would host the MLB All-Star Game until 97, and then the subsequent one in 2019. So anyway, the National League wins 5-4. And it was a good time to play baseball. And then, for the MLB to try to get the fans back in the stands and all that. Unfortunately, the split season format was, terrible to predictable results. Such highlights were Kansas City winning the second half of division in the AL West, despite the fact they were 6 games below 500 in the first half. And no love for the St. Louis Cardinals or Cincinnati Reds, as both teams had the best combined records in their division, but they didn't win any half. The Reds in the NL West were screwed by Houston and Los Angeles, whereas St. Louis was screwed over in the East by Philly and Montreal. But St. Louis would get their justice in 82 as they would win the World Series. Cincy would take a while to get justice. It would take 1990. Yeah, The split season saw the Yankees take on Milwaukee for the AL East crown, Kansas City taking on Oakland for the the AL West crown, Philly taking on Montreal for the NL East crown, and the NL West crown, Houston, Los Angeles. It was a pretty impressive playoff run. Houston almost sunk the Dodgers. They were down to Houston was up 2 games to none, and they needed one more win to go to the LCS, and they blew it. Well, it didn't help that the games 3, 4, 5 were at Dodger Stadium. Montreal had a 2-0 lead on Philly and almost blew it themselves, but thankfully, Game 5, Steve Rogers outdueled Steve Carlton 3-0 Expos. In the AL West, it was no contest. Oakland crushed Kansas City in the fine powder in 3 games. Milwaukee almost came back from 2-0 down against the Yankees. So we almost had 3 major comebacks, but thankfully the Yankees won Game 5. Yankees would crush Oakland in the LCS, and LCS Blue Monday. I recommend researching that. And the Dodgers came back from 2-0 down against the Yankees to win the World Series in 6. That's all you need to know, really. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.